The twisted remains of a silver supercar sat in the middle of a crowded auction stage, its windshield shattered, one side crushed inward, paint scraped to bare metal like the car had survived a war. Luxury collectors laughed openly from the front row. Cameras flashed. Influencers mocked it online in real time. And standing beside the wreck with grease on his hands and exhaustion in his eyes was a struggling single father who had spent the last 3 years rebuilding it alone inside a tiny garage. Then the CEO of the country's largest automotive investment firm stepped onto the stage, smirked at the destroyed vehicle, and publicly called it worthless. 10 minutes later, investors began offering $15 million for the same car. Before we continue, if you believe hidden talent, resilience, and second chances still matter, please like this video, comment where you're watching from, share this story with someone who needs encouragement today, and subscribe to Moments Hub for more emotional stories that stay with you long after they end. Ethan Cole was 37 years old and carried exhaustion the way some people carry expensive watches. Quietly. Constantly. His dark brown hair was usually messy from long nights in the garage. His hands carried permanent scars from years of mechanical work. His jeans were worn at the knees, and his old navy work jacket still smelled faintly of oil and welding smoke no matter how often he washed it. Life had not been gentle with him. 5 years earlier, Ethan worked as a lead engineer for a high-performance automotive company specializing in experimental racing systems. He loved the work because it challenged him creatively. Engines made sense to him in ways people often did not. He could hear problems before computers detected them. He understood balance, timing, pressure, and design instinctively. Then tragedy interrupted everything. His wife, Claire, passed away unexpectedly after a severe illness, leaving Ethan alone with their 6-year-old son, Noah. Grief shattered his career focus almost overnight. Deadlines became impossible. Corporate expectations became unbearable. Eventually Ethan resigned quietly, choosing stability and fatherhood over prestige. Since then, life became smaller. Simpler. School lunches. Late utility bills. Second-hand clothes. Freelance repair work. Trying desperately to give Noah a peaceful childhood despite constant financial pressure. The supercar entered Ethan's life almost by accident. 3 years earlier, a wrecked prototype hypercar from a bankrupt European manufacturer appeared at a salvage auction. Most people saw scrap metal. Insurance loss. Finished. But Ethan saw something different hidden beneath the damage. Potential. The car had originally been designed using an unfinished experimental hybrid engine system decades ahead of its time. Most engineers considered the technology too unstable to succeed commercially. Ethan disagreed. So despite having almost no money, he bought the destroyed car using borrowed savings and months of risk he could barely afford. Everyone told him it was foolish. Maybe it was. But rebuilding the car became more than mechanical work. It became survival. Purpose. Something to hold together while grief threatened to pull him apart. Night, after Noah slept, Ethan worked alone in his tiny garage. Rewiring systems. Fabricating missing components manually. Studying old engineering patents. Teaching himself software integration. Salvaging impossible parts from scrap yards. Years passed that way. Quiet sacrifice invisible to almost everyone. Noah often sat nearby doing homework while his father worked beneath fluorescent lights surrounded by tools and broken parts. Sometimes Ethan questioned whether the project was destroying him financially. But every time the engine almost responded, every time the system improved slightly, hope returned. Not hope for wealth. Hope that maybe he still mattered. That his mind still had value beyond survival. Eventually rumors about Ethan's rebuilt prototype began spreading through underground automotive communities. Collectors grew curious. Engineers quietly visited his garage. Videos leaked online. People started realizing the impossible might actually work. That led to an invitation Ethan never expected. An elite innovation auction in Los Angeles featuring rare experimental vehicles and future transportation investors. The opportunity felt surreal. Terrifying. Potentially life-changing. But the pressure was overwhelming. Because Ethan didn't belong in that world anymore. Not socially. Not financially. Not emotionally. The night before the auction, Noah hugged him tightly and told him he already won simply because he never gave up. That sentence stayed in Ethan's mind constantly. Especially when he arrived at the event. Luxury flooded every corner. Glass architecture. Designer suits. Celebrity collectors. Corporate executives. Perfect appearances. And at center stage sat Ethan's rebuilt supercar. The crowd initially admired it from a distance. Until presentation footage displayed the vehicle's original catastrophic crash damage. Suddenly reactions changed. Mockery spread. People laughed at the idea that such extensive destruction could ever produce reliable innovation. Then came Victoria Lang. 42 years old. CEO of Lang Automotive Ventures. One of the most influential investment figures in the global performance vehicle industry. Sharp. Elegant. Brilliant. Feared. Victoria built her empire by identifying valuable technology before competitors noticed it. She was respected because she rarely made emotional decisions. Only strategic ones. When introduced to Ethan's vehicle, she publicly questioned its legitimacy. Not cruelly at first. More dismissively. She described the car as sentimental rebuilding rather than serious engineering. A damaged fantasy project. An emotional obsession disguised as innovation. The audience laughed lightly. Ethan stood silently beside the vehicle absorbing every word. Because part of him feared she was right. Years of sacrifice. Money gone. Career paused. What if this really was just grief transformed into machinery? Then came the demonstration. Ethan entered the vehicle quietly while cameras rolled. The arena lights dimmed. The crowd expected failure. Instead, the engine awakened. Not loudly. Smoothly. Controlled. Sophisticated. A sound unlike conventional combustion systems. The car moved onto the stage with impossible balance and precision. Screens displayed real-time energy efficiency metrics shocking experienced engineers in the audience. Hybrid response times exceeded industry expectations. Cooling stability remained flawless. Power delivery efficiency broke projected estimates. The room changed instantly. Laughter disappeared. Phones lowered. Executives leaned forward. Investors whispered urgently. Victoria's expression shifted first from skepticism, to concentration, then genuine disbelief. Because she understood what others slowly realized. This wasn't a rebuilt wreck. It was breakthrough engineering. And Ethan had achieved it almost entirely alone. Questions exploded afterward. How did he stabilize the hybrid system? How did he redesign thermal management? How did he solve integration failures abandoned by entire corporations? Ethan answered calmly. Humbly. Never exaggerating. Never performing. Just explaining years of disciplined work. Then the offers began. 3 million. 5 million. 8 million. 12 million. Within minutes, competing investors escalated publicly. $15 million. The same crowd mocking the car earlier now fought desperately to own it. But something more important happened that night. Victoria requested a private conversation. Away from cameras. Away from investors. For the first time in years, Ethan spoke honestly about what the car really represented. Not wealth. Healing. Survival. Fatherhood. Proof that pain did not completely erase his purpose. Victoria listened silently. And for perhaps the first time in a long while, she looked beyond market value toward human value. She learned about Noah. The late nights. The grief. The years spent balancing impossible responsibility with impossible ambition. And suddenly the car itself became secondary. Because the real miracle was the man who rebuilt himself while rebuilding it. The following weeks changed Ethan's life permanently. Not because he became rich overnight. Because respect returned. Investors offered partnerships. Engineering firms sought collaboration. Media outlets requested interviews. But Ethan remained cautious. His first priority stayed unchanged. Noah. Stability. Peace. Eventually Ethan accepted a carefully structured partnership with Lang Automotive Ventures, allowing him creative control, flexible scheduling, and educational opportunities for future engineers from disadvantaged backgrounds. Victoria personally insisted on those terms. Not as charity. As recognition. She understood brilliance had nearly been lost simply because life interrupted it. Before we reach the ending, comment below, do you think some of the world's greatest talent stays hidden because people judge success by appearances? Months later, Ethan stood inside a modern research facility watching Noah excitedly explore prototype designs displayed across digital screens. The boy smiled proudly at his father in a way Ethan would never forget. Not because of money. Because Noah saw something deeper. His father believed in himself again. And maybe that's what truly changed everything. If this story touched your heart, please like this video, leave a meaningful comment, share it with someone who needs encouragement today, and subscribe to Moments Hub for more emotional stories about resilience, humility, and second chances. Sometimes the world laughs at broken things, until someone patient enough rebuilds them into something extraordinary.